Attention, please. Here's something I bet you didn't know. Not all supplements are created equal. At HealthSpan, our omega-3 oil is sustainably sourced from the South Pacific Ocean. We find our turmeric in the southern slopes of India. And our cod liver oil comes from the cold, crisp seas off Greenland. We work hard to seek out the best ingredients for our supplements, because that's the HealthSpan way. We're healthspan.co.uk. Vitamins and supplements in-store or direct to your door.
Right now, it's more vital than ever that we keep in touch. So at Labara, we're offering a great value SIM-only deal. 1,000 texts and 1,000 minutes to the UK. 100 extra minutes to 40 other countries, plus 2 gigs of data. All for just £5. No contract. You can change at any time. Not that you'd want to. Labara. Stay connected.
Vinzo, Battleborn.
Hello and welcome to the final sessions for day 2 of the British Paraswimming International Meet 2021. It's me, Liz Johnson again, and we're looking forward to another day of fast racing here this evening in this final session. As the officials walk onto the pool and when they are introduced in venue, I will then hand you over to the in-venue entertainment so that we can listen and all pay our respects. Once we looked at the schedule, we'll join everybody in the venue. The officials are just being announced. They're just walking on. I've said before that the walk-on is a lot shorter than it used to be, but on this sad day, we will all join with the venue, live feed and the venue, as we pay our respects to His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, following the sad news of his passing that we received this morning.
The technical delegate for this
So it will be technical delegate Tony Ward. The men's referee will be Christine Golightly. The referee for the women's event will be David Metcalf. And the starter for all races will be Elizabeth Fitzsimmons. So now we will join the venue.
It is with great sadness that we learn this morning of the passing of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. The thoughts of everyone at British Swimming and World Para Swimming go out to Prince Philip's wife, Her Majesty the Queen, and the royal family at this extremely sad time. We therefore ask that all that are able to rise and join us in a minute's silence as a mark of respect. Thank you. Technical officials, you may now take your seats.
Everybody here in the venue was very saddened to hear of that news this morning. For tonight's finals, we will have the women's 100 meters backstroke multi-class, the men's 100 meters backstroke multi-class. There will be one final for each of those. Then we will have the 50 meters breaststroke, men and women. Then we will have the 100 meters breaststroke, men's and women's events. There'll be two finals in the men's version of the 100 meters breaststroke. And then we will conclude with the women's 50 meters backstroke and the men's 50 meters backstroke. Here is your start list for our first World Series final this evening. Swimmers will be making their way to poolside in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes for the women's 100 meters backstroke final.
In lane 8, we have Mai Deguchi of Japan. She is a medley relay gold medalist at the 27 World Intellectual Impairment Sport Swimming Championships. In lane 7 is Katie CROWHURST, the birthday girl finalist last night. Hopefully she didn't have too much cake, and here she is, the swimmer from Wickham, looking excited and ready to swim again this evening. There we can see in lane 6, it's Spain's two-time Paralympian, Isabel Hernandez Santos. And she'll be next to EMELINE Pierre of France, the World Championship bronze medalist in this event in the Mexico World Championships of 2017. Lane 4 sees world record holder and Paralympic champion Hannah Russell of Great Britain. Here we have in lane 3 Stephanie Millward, the S8 Paralympic champion, now swimming in the S9 category, going for Great Britain. Paralympic silver medalist, Great Britain's Abby Kane in lane 2. '50 freestyle world championship bronze medalist, SUSANNAH KAUL of Estonia, will occupy lane 1. And 100-meter freestyle finalist yesterday in lane 0, Elena Kliachkina of Russia is back for more action this evening.
This is the women's 100 meters backstroke final.
Great start there from Hannah Russell off the block in lane 4. Also a good start and a good use of the underwater for S10 athlete from Spain, Isabel Hernandez Santos in lane 6. You see that bright pink hat and costume combo of Abby Kane. She's chasing a consideration time of 1:07.68. But it's Hannah Russell as we go into the final 5 meters of the first 50, turning in a time of 32.85, followed by EMELINE Pierre 34.99, KAUL 35.959, and Abby Kane 35.79. So the race is on behind Hannah Russell, but she's pulling away from the field. This is her favourite event. She comes into the final 25 metres. Said she is the Paralympic champion. She is the world record holder in the S12 category, and she's looking very strong here as she pursues another consideration time for those Tokyo Paralympic Games in the summer. Hannah Russell stops the clock at 1:08.79. Tight finish there. EMELINE Pierre just getting touched out by Stephanie Millward, the S9 athlete, 1:13.88 to 1:14.03 for the French athlete. Great racing there. Now everybody's eyes on the board, checking their times, checking the points to see on the position. Stephanie Millward there relaying Hannah Russell's time to her. Stephanie Millward aiming to make her 4th Paralympic Games in Tokyo this summer. And there we have confirmation of the result of the women's multi-class 100 metres backstroke. Hannah Russell takes the victory with 885 points. Stephanie Millward second with 759 points. EMELINE Pierre 704 points. And it was a 1:14.48 for Abby Kane. Here are the start list for the men's multi-class 100 metres backstroke World Series final. There'll be no athlete in lane 6. Final swimmer just leaving the water there from the women's event. Poolside will be cleared and disinfected for the men to enter.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes for the men's 100 metres backstroke final.
Here in lane 9 we have Mark MALYAR of Israel, 400-metre freestyle world record holder. He's had a busy schedule at this competition, another final for him. Lane 8, it's AYMERIC PARMENTIER, the World Championship Breaststroke bronze medalist from Belgium, swimming in the S14 category. World Championship finalist in lane 7, it's Great Britain's RHYS. As we said, no lane 6. So in lane number 5, it's Alex Portal, the double World Championship medalist from France. He's in fine form already this week. There we see the newly crowned British record holder occupying lane 4 for this final. It's Great Britain's RHYS. World Championship bronze medalist LAULOR of Great Britain will be going in lane 3. In lane 2 for Great Britain, it's another S14 athlete, Jordan CATCHPOLE, the World Championship silver medalist. In lane number 1 for Japan, it's MASANORI MIYOSHI, first made an appearance at the World Championships back in 2015. And to round out the start list for this final, it is Commonwealth Games England representative swimming for Great Britain here tonight, Jacob Leach, in the S9 category. So this is a pretty stacked field. An S9 athlete in lane 0, an S13 athlete in lane 5, an S7 athlete in lane 9, and everyone else is in the S14 category. Those British athletes chasing a qualifying time for Tokyo consideration of 1 minute and 1.67. All athletes away well there. LAULOR getting a good underwater, and it's RHYS who pops up in a line with Alex Portal of France in those 2 center yellow lane lines. Like I said, there's 3 spots available on the British team. There's 4 athletes who are gunning for that consideration time. RHYS showed his intent this morning and looks to be doing so again, turning in a 28.71 ahead of LAULOR, 29.21, and third position at this point is Jordan CATCHPOLE, 29.42. RHYS had another great underwater there, going very well. So if we go into the final 25 meters, he's got a body length lead over LAULOR and Jordan CATCHPOLE, who are battling it out in the 2 lanes just above him. As we come into the final 5 meters, all eyes will be on the clock, and RHYS stops it at 59.96. 101.47 for Louis Lawlor and 101.49 for Jordan Catchpole. Rhys Davies there, 103.02. They were the four S14 British athletes gunning it for that consideration time. Louis Lawlor, you can see how happy he is there, hitting that time.
Very happy swimmers inside the ring ropes of Ponds Forward right now. I'm sure there's
All smiles. Jordan Catchpole trying to catch his breath and read the screen. It's difficult when you've just finished and you're out of breath, but you can see just how much that means to Louis Lawlor. And there is confirmation that the first four athletes were, in fact, the four British S14 swimmers. The win going to Rhys Dunning, another new British record. Edging ever closer to that world record of 59.26 for Vyacheslav Emelianstev of Russia, set back in Glasgow in 2015. The next event will be the women's multi-class 50 meters breaststroke. There'll be one final for this event. 4 swimmers. So we head down to the opposite end of the pool. We will start from the diving pit end. I think everybody's just catching their breath after that S14 men's 100 meter backstroke showdown. There we see in lane 6, it's Iceland's Sonja Sigurdardóttir, being a competitor for a very long time. First went to the World Championships back in 2006 in Durban. Also competed at the 2006 World Championships, KARINA LAURIDSEN in lane 5 for Denmark, the world champion in this event in 2010. In lane 4, it's Jonne MOLEMAN of the Netherlands. She's been in personal record-breaking form here. So far this week, each of her heat swims has led to the fastest time she's ever done. And in her first final at this competition, it is Marta Fernandez Infante of Spain. Going in lane 3. So everybody in this multi-class breaststroke race is actually an SB3 athlete. So it is a straight showdown to whoever can get their hands to that wall first. And the athletes got away well there. Jonne MOLEMAN going off the block from her knees and getting the initial advantage as she's up and into her stroke. You can see the body length ahead of the rest of the field. Fernandez Infante of Spain and LAURIDSEN of Denmark in those blue costumes. Spent the first 15 meters, good synchronized swim, but now it is the experienced LAURIDSEN starting to pull away and open up a gap. She's got about a body length lead over the Spaniard at the halfway point, but all eyes will be at the front of the field on Jonne MOLEMAN, the in-form athlete from the Netherlands, as she comes into the final 10 meters. And all eyes will be on the clock here. The athletes doing very well at this championship. And there we see 52.99 for Jonne MOLEMAN. Just slightly slower than she went this morning. And then comes KARINA LAURIDSEN, 108.37. And then Fernandez Infante in third position, 115.29. And here we see Sonia Sigurdardottir. She's aiming to beat her heat time from this morning of 3 minutes and 12.76. I mentioned that Jonna Molman has been in fine form, breaking her personal records. She's swum under a few world and European marks, but they would need to be ratified once classifications are confirmed. So all races that we see here, all times that we see, are subject to confirmation and ratification of people's classifications. Here we see now Sonia Sigurdardottir just coming into the final 15 metres. That's what that red marker signifies. And as I said, all eyes will be on the clock from the Icelandic supporters to see if she can get in ahead of the 3:12.76 that she went this morning. All of these athletes are scheduled to be back in towards the end of the final session for the 50 metres backstroke. But right now, it's all about the breaststroke. Sigurdardottir coming into this final 5 metres. Like I said, a very experienced athlete for Iceland. Been on the team for almost 15 years. The World Championships in Durban did in fact happen in December. So we're only in April now. But here comes Sigurdardottir, stopping the clock at 3:08.32. So significantly quicker than this morning, and she'll be happy with that swim. There was your winner, Jonna Molman of the Netherlands. Another good swim for her. There are the results confirmed. All athletes in the same category. So as you saw them finish is how they appear on the point score. 980 points there for Jonna Molman's 52.99. Next up, it will be the men's equivalent of the 50-metre breaststroke for this World Series final. Once again, there will be one race, 4 athletes. 3 SB3 athletes and an SB1. In lane 6, EYAD SHALABI of Israel. In each race, everything gets disinfected that a swimmer may have touched. So that would be the diving block, the chair behind the block, the space, the floor space between the diving block and the chair that an athlete can sit on, to make sure that the venue and the environment is COVID secure and this event can proceed safely. See in the venue, on the left-hand side, the athletes, I would say congregating, but they're not really because they're very spread out. But normally that's where you'd see a lot of supporters from a lot of teams, but obviously no athletes other than those that are due to swim around poolside, and that is now our core room area. So as you can see there on the left-hand side, down the bottom, they are our athletes for 50 metres about to come out and swim. That's the call zone. And then to the right of your shot, that is now the call room for 100, 200 and 400 meter events. Athletes no longer behind the stands in a closed off room. Here we go, and in lane 6, it is EYAD SHALABI of Israel. He broke the world record in the 150 meter individual medley yesterday, so we know he is in fine form. Here comes Artur Apostolaki of Russia in lane 5, his first final here at this competition this week. In lane 4, it'll be AYMERIC of Israel, the European Championship silver medalist in this event. He will enter from the side of the pool. And in lane 3, Lyndon Longhorn of Great Britain. Already broken 2 British records this week. No, he's aiming for one in this event too. It's actually his own British record. 57.94 is the time that he's aiming for.
This is the men's 50 meters breaststroke final.
So Great Britain's Longhorn going from the block, all other athletes starting in the water. And a great up and into the stroke straight away is the European silver medalist, Dadoin of Israel. That quick stroke rate there. And all 3 SB3 swimmers are together. And Apostolaki of Russia going very well here. Sticking with Dadoin, those 2 white caps just ahead of the black cap of the British athlete, Lyndon Longhorn. As I said, all 3 athletes SB3 in your picture at the moment. And then EYAD SHALABI of Israel, the SB1 athlete, just out of shot in lane 6. Dadoin now looks to be taking control at the front. There isn't much in it, but as we come into the final 5 meters, he's going well. He put his head down, and he will touch the wall in a time of 55.68. Good swim for him there. 57.89 for Artur Apostolaki. And then Lyndon Longhorn, just over a minute, 1 minute .54 for him. And that rounds out the SB3 athletes. And now all eyes in the venue and on the stream will be on EYAD SHALABI as he enters the final 15 meters. He is an SB1 athlete. So SB1s are the most severely impaired in the functional categories. S1, as I said, most severe. S10, the least. So SHALABI here, like I said, he broke the world record in the 150 meter individual medley yesterday. Got under the 5 minute mark twice. So he's in good form. As he comes into this final 5 meters now, the time that he went this morning was 2:02.43. So everyone will be holding their breath to see if he can get to the wall before that. And he stops the clock, 2:02.53, just 1/10 of a second outside of his heat swim. Very consistent there, but there was your fastest SB3 athlete, the European silver medalist, AYMERIC, and he'll be hoping to make his Paralympic debut in Tokyo in the summer. Here are those results confirmed, and it was the SB3 athletes that took the top positions on points. So, and then 346 points for EYAD SHALABI in that SB1 category. 620 points wins it for Dadoin, but there won't be any medals handed out here. There won't be any podiums. Just another measure put in place to ensure that the environment remains COVID secure. Essentially, when you're looking at the screen and you're watching the stream, you're seeing the racing as it happens. You're seeing what we always see, athletes who are very elite, some of the best of the world, getting on the block and racing as fast as they can up and down a pool. But in order to make this event possible, pretty much everything else behind the scenes has changed. Mentioned the core room, mentioned how the poolside gets disinfected between races. Swim down times are limited, kept to a minimum. Number of people in venue also kept to a minimum. Here's the start list for the next event, the women's multi-class 100 meters breaststroke World Series final. There will be one race for this event.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes for the women's 100 meters breaststroke final.
So first out, it is in lane 8, European champion in this event from 2014, Eleanor Simmons of Great Britain, going in the SB6 classification. Next up in lane 7, also for Great Britain in the SB14 category, it's Danielle Hartin. The second final in as many days for Elena Klichakina of Russia, the SB8 athlete, in lane 6. In lane 5, it's world champion Rebecca Redfern of Great Britain in the SB13 category on her return to competition. Another world champion in lane 4, Louise Fiddis, also of Great Britain, going in the SB14 category. The third final in as many events. In lane 3, it's Tatiana Lebrun of Belgium. She'll be swimming in the SB9 category. In lane 2, representing Japan, it's Mai Deguchi in the SB14 category. She'll be hoping to compete at the home games in Tokyo this summer. In lane 1, representing Great Britain, it's European record holder Maisie Summers-Newton, going in the SB6 category. And then in lane 0, representing Great Britain, Grace Harvey goes in the SB5 category. She's in fine form, the new British record holder in this event. She swam that time this morning. And that is your lineup for this women's multi-class 100 meters breaststroke World Series final. Wait, as I've heard, that bright pink costume in the bottom of the shot. Eleanor Simmons getting a good reaction time. But to be expected, it's the athletes in the SB14 and SB13 category who are starting to pull away and lead that spearhead. Rebecca Redford going very well, as is Louise Fiddis, the two world champions in their respective classifications. Danielle Hartin going well there, as is Tatiana Lebrun of Belgium having a great meet here. Every time she gets in the water, she swims fast. Louise Fides turning in 35.59. Rebecca Redfern, 37.32. And then in the SB6 category, Maisie Summers-Newton, 44.43 for her at the halfway point. Eleanor Simmons just ahead of Grace Harvey, 48.5 to 49.66. There's action all over the pool here because of the caliber of the athletes in all categories. And it is Louise Fides now who's got a body length lead over Rebecca Redfern as we come into that final 5 meters to stop the clock in a 1:16.84 for Louise Fides, 1:18.28 for Rebecca Redfern. That is once again inside the consideration time for the Tokyo Paralympic Games, as was Louise Fides, and then Tatiana Lebrun holding on to that third position. Maisie Summers-Newton, 1:36.02 for her. And everybody's watching. Grace Harvey at the top there in lane 9, the SB5 athlete, 1:43.82. That is quicker than she went this morning, inside the consideration time, and also inside the British record that she set this morning. So again, subject to confirmation of those results and ratification, Grace Harvey there continuing her fine form. Now there were athletes in a range of categories there, from SB5 all the way through to SB14. So in terms of position, we will have to wait for the points to be confirmed. And there we have it. Louise Fides takes the win, 843 points over Maisie Summers-Newton, 819 points, and Grace Harvey, 738 points. All three of those athletes achieving consideration times for this event for Tokyo 2021, as did Rebecca Redfern in the SB13 category. For this men's multi-class 100 meters breaststroke World Series final, we will see 2 events. And we will start with final number 2. There will be 6 athletes. 4 SB5, SB6, and SB9 categories represented in this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes for the men's 100 meters breaststroke final 2.
Here come the finalists for this first race. In lane 7, it is the African record holder in the 100 meters freestyle, Zayed Kahil of Egypt. In lane 6, representing Switzerland, Leo McRae will go in the SB5 category. I'm sure he'll have a lot of domestic support though, training out of Kelly College. Mount Kelly now. Lane 5, it is Mark MALYAR, a World Championship bronze medalist in this event in 2017. Second final of the night for him. And here we see in lane 4 representing Kazakhstan, Sergei Kinak in his first final of the competition. In lane 3 representing Great Britain in the SB6 classification, it is William Perry. And in lane 2 representing Israel is Bashar Halabi. First final of this meet. He'll go in the SB4 category.
This is the men's 100 meters breaststroke final 2.
Here's Mark Malyaar, busy man at this competition, taking every opportunity they can, these athletes, to get as much race practice in, having missed obviously quite a bit last year. Everyone away there safely. You can see great underwater in those 2 middle lanes from Sergei Kanak, the SB9 athlete, and Mark Malyaar, the SB6 swimmer from Israel. You see very contrasting strokes. Kanak with that long glide. Mark Malyaar, higher stroke rate, but serving him well. More power comes from the arms of the SB6 athlete than the leg kick, but he's going very well down here to stick with the SB9 athlete, and going well as well. Leo McRae and Will Perry. It is at the turn. Kanak that's got it, 38.8. Mark Malyaar, 40 flat. William Perry, the SB6 athlete, 42.39, just ahead of Leo McRae in the SB5 classification. So at the moment, going as you would expect. Ziad Kahil there, just turning in 55.78, a little behind Bashar Halabi, who turned in 53.68. As we come into the final 15 meters for the athletes at the front of the field. Now, Kanak has started to pull away from Mark Malyaar, but he's an SB9 athlete. As he comes into the final couple of strokes to hit the wall, he stops the clock in a 1:23.78, half a second quicker than he went this morning. Mark Malyaar there also quicker, 1:26.14 for him. Will Perry getting that time, 1:31.93. Leo McRae of Switzerland touching the wall in 1:34.48. Again, quicker than those athletes went this morning, so great final swims there from all athletes that have finished so far. And here we see now in that final 3 meters,